All right, guys, welcome to the video. Anthony here, Special Analysis. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Want to talk about the very first thing that I teach a new trader, and that really comes down to probably, it's going to sound silly and simplistic, but the trend is your friend. Now, I know some of you, find that to sound cliche or whatever, but the market, when it is rallying higher or it is selling off, is more likely than not to continue doing so than to potentially reverse if the higher time frame warrants the direction of the move. Now, there's lots of ways to trade intraday. You can trade with the trend, you can trade reversals, you can trade pullbacks. Again, I'm not here to tell anybody how to trade. I'm simply here to teach folks the most simplistic ways to find consistency. Now, does that mean that's the only way? Absolutely not, right? As you become more advanced as a trader, you're going to continue to add newer and newer techniques to your approach to the market, meaning, all right, if the market's trending, I'm going to play it this way. If the market is ranging, I'm going to play it this way. If we're approaching higher time frame support or resistance, I'm going to play it this way. So that all comes with time, right? Most traders fail because they're not patient and disciplined enough to just follow very specific, very simple rules, okay? Recently had a new trader come into the program. I'd like to have a conversation to see where they're at before they even get involved in the program, because if it's not for them, it's a waste of their money and my time. So a 15-minute phone call for me really goes a long way. We kind of figure out if this is a right fit or not. So we had the phone call. We discussed what next steps would be. Trader committed, said, hey, listen, I'm going to, my suggestion was, you failed to find consistency thus far in your career. It's now worth stepping back, right? Developing the trade plan, putting the trade plan into action, proving yourself profitable over time on a paper or simulated style account. So the trader said, yes, I'm going to do that through the summer months. And then this way in the fall, if I feel like I'm ready to move back to live money, that's what I'm going to do. Great. So a couple days goes by, or a week later, he goes, I don't have a trade plan. I said, well, why didn't you say that during our initial call? We got to now roll back a little bit and start building a trade plan. So, I sent him, some details on how to do that, on, what it would look like and things of that nature. And really a trade plan is very unique to each of us. What works for Anthony isn't going to work for any of you watching this video. It's going to be different, right? My account size is likely different. My experience is likely different. My tolerance for risk is likely very different. To each of us, it's very personal. You know what I mean? I said, well, listen, you got to start developing a trade plan. Here's some ideas. You got to start hammering it out. So a couple days go by, and he goes, I'm taking loss after loss after loss. And I go, how are you taking loss after loss after loss if you don't have a trade plan and you're supposed to be trading in a simulated or paper account until you do have a trade plan, until we get through the summer months? And then we were supposed to revisit this conversation as you approach the fall to review the trade plan, review the performance, and see how you're doing. Well, I got no response. So that means that basically I wasted my breath on the phone call. Basically, I wasted my breath providing the trade plan, because the plan that we laid out through our conversation and through the things I provided and took the time to put together, obviously were just completely discarded, right? So this trader came to me and said, hey, listen, I've been trying and trying and trying. I can't find consistency. Well, the reason you can't find consistency is very simple. You have no discipline, right? You're totally an emotional trader. You're attached to the win or the loss, and you're not willing to be patient, put a couple months of hard work in to then say, hey, listen, I've now developed something that I can replicate. So for me, obviously at that point, I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend any more time, because no matter what I say, this person's going to ultimately do what they want to do. And I said to him, I told him that, listen, you should start paper trading in the direction of what I'm going to share with you guys in this video right now, because I found this to be the most predictable opportunity to try to partake in the market. And that is, if the ball is rolling, roll with the ball, okay? The ball will continue rolling until it runs out of energy, right? So when the market is rallying or the market is selling off, there's inertia, right? There's this momentum behind the market. And how do we measure that? Well, I personally measure that with 2 time frames. The current time frame that we're trading, and then this upper MACD is on a higher time frame. Why do I want that? Because if the higher time frame's trending, there's a pretty good chance that the current time frame is going to be trending as well, right? So I gave this client, student, exactly what I'm going to share with you over the next 3 to 5 minutes, right? I said to him, I go, listen, you're going to want to look for price, right? So what is price? Price are these candles to be above these 3 sequenced fast-moving averages, above both of these VWAPs, okay? You're going to want to see the market find support at the 8 and the 13, these 2 fastest moving averages, right? And you're going to want to see the market continue to rally off that. As soon as we start to break that, either we're in for a deeper correction or a reversal. But when the higher time frame MACD is exhibiting momentum, like you see, the current MACD, which is modified to the way I want it to read, right, is exhibiting momentum. Price is above all 3 of these fast EMAs, and all of this on the chart is above the 2 VWAPs that I have set up the way I want them, okay? And we're within a gap of these populated pivots. This is your lowest risk, highest probability chance of price continuing in the direction that the energy is rolling the ball, okay? Until either the buyers step out or the sellers outweigh them, price is most likely, in this scenario, to continue in the direction of the momentum. All right? My rolling VWAP is leading my session. Price is above and respecting all 3 of my fast-moving averages. I have a gap from current resistance to new resistance, right? So what is this? Right? Now these gaps I populate for these pivots I populate for my clients. Why? Because I want it to be simple for them. There's 77 ticks between this pivot and this pivot, right? So you have no obstructed resistance for 77 ticks from this retest of the fast-moving averages after the breakout to the next notable resistance, okay? Whether you want to buy it into the momentum, whether you want to buy it at the fast-moving averages, I don't care. That's up to you. You can uniquely decide how you want that to be inside your personal trade plan. But when I have 2 time frames, these two specific time frames, that the signal lines are leading the histogram, okay? There's a better than not chance, if I do not have any obstruction, and the obstructions identified by all these lines that populate on the computer by themselves. I've set this up so it is absolutely brainless, okay? You want to work with the momentum that multiple time frames are exhibiting. As long as price is respecting these fast-moving averages, they should act as rubber bands, meaning every time price pulls back into it, boom, it should pop off of it. Pull back into it, pop off of it. Pull back into it, pop off of it. Pull back in, pop off, pull back in, pop off, until we start to break them. Okay? Guys, if you cannot do this, and you're not willing to take the time to practice it, and part of that practice is being willing to wait for the setup that makes sense, because that's part of trading, all right? There's a lot of discipline that goes into trading, especially as a new trader. Okay? Until you have the account size and the sustainability to jump in and out of the market, right? A lot of people can't emotionally handle that. It takes years to build that. But if you could follow a simple checklist and only trade when there's a gap from resistance to newly supported resistance, or inversely to the downside from resistance to newly appointed support, when all of these things are in line, are you going to win every trade? No. Okay? Is there a better than not chance that the energy of the market either rallying or selling off to continue? Yes. Okay? I don't know how much easier I can make it for somebody. Right? So this client decided to discontinue their service. Why? Because A, they voided what they told me they were going to do, which is what they needed to do to find success. B, they couldn't follow very simple instructions. Most traders can't. That's why there's a 90+% fail rate. Right? You're too impatient. You're too greedy. When you're in the trade and it's working in your favor, you're too fearful that it's not going to continue. Right? You need to have a check within yourself first before you come to the market. Okay? It's very simple. If you are not emotionally or psychologically prepared for what it takes to do this job, and I make it as simple as humanly possible, if you only take these types of trades, A, there's not a lot of them, so it keeps you out of the market. B, when they happen, they have a high success rate. Okay? If you can just be patient, right? I have a woman in the program. She came in. She had no ego, no emotions. She practiced. We worked on the skill set. She proved herself profitable in a paper or simulate style account. And inside of a year, she has multiplied her account. Why? Because she was patient, she was disciplined, and she had the psychology to do the job. Okay? This recent client that came into the program was not patient, had no discipline, no trade plan, not willing to practice. After we had a plan in place, you go, I'm taking loss after loss. I don't understand why you're taking losses if you're supposed to be paper trading and working on your trading plan that you don't have. If you don't have a trade plan, if you don't have a very specific set of rules that tells me to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, then you shouldn't be trading. Okay? You're absolutely doing yourself a massive, massive disservice. This is the very first thing I teach my traders. Trade this in a paper simulated style account until you prove yourself profitable, make that trade plan unique to you, make that checklist unique to you, and then you can start dialing it in after you've proven yourself profitable in a paper account. Because if you haven't taken the time to do that, the reason you're unsuccessful is you are jumping from one strategy to another, to another, to another, to the next guy driving a Lamborghini on YouTube because you think he's going to solve all your problems. Listen, he's making more money from the revenue on YouTube than he is trading. Okay? They're making more money in the revenue selling you $2,000 or $3,000 products than they are trading. Okay? So you, as the trader, can decide if you want to be entertained and finance their lifestyle, or if you want to invest in yourself and become a consistent, disciplined, profitable trader. But there's a route to get there, right? There is a way to get there, and it takes time. If you're not willing to put the time in, if you're not willing to build the trade plan, if you're not willing to get your emotions and psychology in check, guys, you are wasting your money and your time, and somebody else's time who genuinely wants to help you, if you're not willing to follow through in the process. It's not easy, okay? Nobody wants to tell you that. They all want to tell you, oh, I'm going to make it easy. But they're not, because it's not easy, right? It just takes time. But I give you the most simplistic, most high probability way to trade. You just have to be patient, wait for the setup to transpire, and then enact your trade plan. Do that over a period of several months, however long it takes, to identify when A happens, I'll do B and C, or when X happens, I'll do Y and Z. right? All those things need to be hammered out. You then need to prove yourself profitable in a paper or simulated style account first before you ever invest one live penny of a brokerage account into this market, because it will eat you alive. It will literally eat you alive. I strongly advise people double a paper account before they ever trade with a live account, because the layer of now new emotions that are going to arise from live money is going to be unlike something you've never experienced before in your lifetime. So, I want you to think long and hard, right? Am I willing to build a trade plan? Am I willing to prove myself profitable? Am I willing to take a proven strategy and make it my own? Am I willing to invest the time, the money, the effort, and the energy into becoming the best version of myself to become the best trader I can be? If you're not willing to do those things, stop wasting your money on every gimmick you see online, okay? And find something else to do. Because if you're unable to make the highest level of commitment to this, then you are not going to be successful. And I say that from a genuinely honest, blatant perspective, because that's what it is. That's what it is, guys. So I shot this video kind of to rant a little bit, right? Because it needed to be said, right? I will say the things that need to be said. I have no fear, right? I don't rely on what clients pay me to pay my bills, right? I rely on trading, because trading for me is what matters, all right? This is the most simplistic way to approach the market that I have found in my years to hand to a new trader to make their own in order for them to build confidence, a track record, and create a usable, replicable trade plan that they must prove profitable in a paper or simulated account. If you're at the point that you're ready to take that step, then I would love to work with you. If you're not, don't waste your money and don't waste my time, because my time is reserved for people who are. Ultimately, people who come and say, I'm so excited and I'm going to learn and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then you tell me in a few weeks, A, I don't even have a trade plan, B, I haven't I haven't practiced at all, I'm just guessing. Why? Right? I don't even want to have that phone call. If you're genuinely trying, you're sending me your trades, I'll review them, I'll give you my feedback. Listen, not every trade works, but we can still have a conversation about, hey, yeah, I followed my trade plan. Okay, great. Let's do it 10 more times and see what the outcome is. Right? Maybe you're cutting your winners too short. Maybe, the market rallied halfway. You saw this little candle here that had some selling and you got freaked out. Instead, you missed, the balance of the move. Right? Like, there's all these things that can be talked about to build you into being the best trader you can be. It takes time, money, effort, and energy. And not everybody's willing to do it, because most people are looking to get rich quick. It takes 10,000 hours to be a professional at anything you do. Keep that in perspective. How many hours a day are you going to watch the market, work on your emotions, trading psychology, and put those things into practice? Divide that by 10,000 hours, and it'll tell you how many days, weeks, months, or years it's going to take you to be an expert in this field. If you're not willing to do that, then this is not for you. And I say that wholeheartedly. Okay? This is not to insult anybody. This is simply to come from a place of, this is what it is. If you can't handle it, it's just not for you. All right, guys? If you want this trade plan, reach out to me. All right? Join me live tomorrow morning, every morning. I'll talk you through it. I'll walk you through it. I'll give you my entire plan, my roadmap to success. But it comes on you to follow through. God bless. I'll see you in the next video.